Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, it's such a big crowd, yeah? Okay, as introduced by the MC, my name is Alice. I'm from MGBC. Today I'm going to present to you is a green home. I'm not going to really into technical because it's a public talk, so I believe the crowd is some all ranking of peoples, So let's begin. Well, okay, this is our Earth, such a beautiful Earth, and but recently, these few years, humans have done a lot of damages to our Earth. So these are the cause. From the factories to throw out the gases, we waste the food, we use a lot of air conditionings, factories throw out a lot of waste, people just simply throw rubbish around to the rivers, to wherever they, anywhere. And they have public burnings, cut off the trees, and we have so many cars all around the world. Cars actually release a lot of this carbon dioxide, which is really, really bad for the earth. So, as a result, you have flood and drought. People have no food. Tsunamis, earthquakes, iceberg is actually melting. Fishes are dead. So these are the things that is actually happening to our Earth, and is happening every day. So, well, I'm going to show you one video clips on this. Yeah, even babies know how to waste water. So we can do something to our Earth. Everything is actually start from individual. We have to take the first steps. You see, Malaysia is blessed with ample amounts of land, yet no such lands are developed adequately to ensure the communities around are able to utilize these spaces in their everyday life. The more livable spaces a community have, the more sustainable the townships are. Poorly designed houses have levels largely relies on air conditioning systems to keep cool, while bad planning and an inadequate road systems sacrifice green spaces and create gripping reliance on flue gassings and car. So let's imagine you're lying on a couch in a living room, reading under the natural light streaming in front, from the skylights above. A gentle breeze blowing through the windows and doors keep the the rooms cool. How wonderful. So when you decide it's time to pop out to the shops for a tray of ice cream, your 7-year-old brothers or sons, shout yes and jump onto his bicycle. You grab the little one hands, hold his hand and step out. Tree shades the bicycle's lane as you and the little brother head for the shop. Buses pass by the pull-out and your father aligned from it. Having just gotten back from work, he decided to go along for ice cream. After all, a shop just after, just 5 minutes walk away. So this is what we want, So we can do the difference. Today I'm going to give you a basic 20 guidelines to go for green homes. It's a very basic, not many technical, so I hope you can catch on that. The first guide, building material and design. So whatever material we choose for our buildings does make a difference to, it affected our surroundings and also our living, same as well as the design. So this is the chart shows the household's energy usage, and you can see that majority, about 44%, is humans, our households actually spend for cooling. We use a lot of air conditioning to cool, because if your house is such a bad design, you will feel hot and uncomfortable, so you need to cool down. The second will be the heating and refrigerator. So we use a lot for this, for showers, things, refrigerator. So all this actually, our daily, we use it every day. but we just don't realize that it does contribute this energy. So every day we are actually wasting this much of energy, you know. So we can do something. We can choose, let's say you have empty land. You can choose how to orientate your house. So you can face it to the north or the south. And you know, this is because we are talking about in Malaysia, so we do not need that much sunlight from the west and the east. West and the east sunlight actually give you a lot of heat gains for the house. So it's good that if your house is facing north or the south. But unfortunately, if your house is facing west or the east, don't worry, we also have the treatment. You can choose the materials such as low-E glass, double glazing glass, or some materials, you know, you can cool down your buildings. And for instance, you can do something for your roof as well. If a roof without any insulation, the sun actually will, you know, the heat will gain into your building. So at night, you will feel very hot. You know, I think among of you, you can feel it, especially you have double-story house, or you can feel the heat actually, you know, at night, you feel it's actually very hot. It happens, you know. So it does make a difference if you you know, if you apply a layers of insulation for your roof, the heat will be bounced back, you know. So you have a more cooling area at the upper level, so you don't waste the space, and you won't feel like you don't want to, you know, spend your time at the upper level. So there are a lot of materials that you can use to create a green homes. So this is another picture, so I can show it to you. Planting is another solution. You can do more, you know, plantings on top of the roof if you have a flat roof. Do a proper waterproofings, and you can have a very greenery roof. And you can create some luvets, you know, in your car porch areas, or introduce to your windows area, maybe not all, maybe part, because in Malaysia we need the lighting. We have very good natural lighting. We can save on that. We do not really need to rely on the electricity. But the things that we doesn't want is, actually we do not want the glare, we do not want the heat. So we just want the lighting. So you have to plan smart how you harvest the light into your house. By doing some plantings in your buildings actually helps to cool down your building as well. So second guide will be on energy efficiency appliances. When you choose all your electrical appliances, make sure it has this label. This is the label authorized by the local authorities. Surahan Tenaga is one of them. So make sure you read it, you find this logo. If you don't understand, you can ask around the shop people, you know, they can explain well, they can show you the catalogs, or any inquiry you can ask for them. But this is the label that you can look for it. Actually, it does make a difference. If you select electrical appliances have this, actually it really helps you saving in energy. So third guide will be the energy efficiency lamp. We are talking about, you know, not lamp, actually it's the bulbs. So a lot of people say, you know, LED light, actually it's quite a green lighting compared with your normal lights like fluorescent light, things like that. No doubt normal lightings, you know, it will give you a cheaper price, but the lifespan is actually shorter, and it spends a lot of electrical, which a lot of publics may not realize on that. So people may go for cheaper things, but they don't realize that actually if you select LED light, so far LED light is actually considered a green light bulb. So it might cost double the price, but it gave you 12 times longer the lifespans and 5 times energy saving. Well, you can try that, you know. And by using the green, green light bulbs, actually it helps to reduce your maintenance. You don't need to go and keep on changing the light bulbs. You know, that's why I said 12 times longer the lifespan. The fourth guide will be renewable energy. So I believe the speakers previously, you know, before me has been talking about the renewable energy by using the solar PV. So this is one of the way you can use it. So a lot of people may not realize in your electrical bill now, I think recently, if you really look at that every month, you can find that actually our TNBs actually have charged us extra of roughly about 1% extra. So a lot of people don't really realize about that. So if you apply for this solar PV, actually it does help. I think like the previous speaker has talked, give-in tariff, feed-in tariff, you know. So I believe recently I think there are a few banks also giving some loans to the PV if you are interested. So you actually can serve on that. So it helps, you know. Okay, daylighting. How we harvest daylighting? You know, why I put summer, winter? Because even though Malaysia don't have summers or winters, but our Earth rotating actually is different. So it affected by the summers and winter by the north and the south hemispheres of the Earth. So the sun pathing is also different. So you can start to introduce some, you know, louvers. How you make your louvers, you know, then you can cover some lighting, not direct sun lighting, so you don't get the direct glaring or also the heat gain. So by introducing some sun shading, is helped as well. Now we have another technology also, it's sort of a light tube. Actually is no electrical on this, it's just a natural harvest on the lighting. It's kind of pretty interesting for this one. Actually, you know, Malaysia's weather is cool, you know. You have the suns all the way direct, you have not much thing to block on that, except for cloudy days, okay? So you can harvest, you know, by using these technologies. It's good and good actually, you should try it on that. So the next will be the air quality. So a lot of people, we know that the things that material that we use in our buildings, actually it provides VOC. VOC is volatile organic compound. So actually it's very bad. The most obvious materials actually are painting. So when you get a new house, you smell new. I get a new things, you know. Your car, you buy a new car. Get into your car, smell new, you know, it gives you a sense of new car, you know. But these are the things that actually is toxic to our body. It's bad, very bad for our health. So that's why now we really emphasize on, if you want to build a building, even for renovation as well, just choose the material with, you know, labels with low VOC. You can start with the paint. So I believe now in Malaysia, there's a lot of paint companies already start to venture into VOC. So yeah, you can choose on that. Our carpet, lamination, these are the things actually also indirectly provide the VOC. So when you choose the material, choose wisely. Go through the catalog in details, ask the, you know, the technical people explain to you, so then you can understand the content of it. The lower the better actually. Ventilation. Just now we harvest for the light. Now we are going to harvest for ventilation, because our country is actually good. You know, we have it's sufficient for lighting and it's always very windy. So it just depends on how smart we can harvest the air into our building. So design is one of it. If you design your house actually in a higher ceiling with a lot of openings for windows, you know, try to implement some louvers, you know, so you can actually get more ventilation into your house. You know, don't do it in one way. You can do it like this, for instance. You can do it at the back and the front. So actually a crisscross of the ventilation. Let's say people will ask, I do not have a bungalow. You know, I live in the intermediate, you know, terrace. So how do I harvest? Yes, you can harvest from the front and the back of the house, but also you can do it from your roof. You can use the turbine. This technology also is not using any electrical. It's safe on that, and you can work on it. You know, it works 24 hours. I've been seeing a lot around in my neighboring. There are a lot of people are using this because I believe, sadly to say, my neighboring, because the developers have developed the roof without any roof insulation. That's why you feel very warm at the upper floor. So people need to, you know, start to venture into this. I'm glad that actually a lot of people that's aware about these technologies, you know. So they start to venture into this, then yeah, they successfully ventilate their house. So don't worry about that. You know, when raining, any water leakage into my buildings, whatever. So this is a lot to do with the workmanship. So if you get the experts to do it, they will explain to you how they're going to treat it. So don't worry on the water leaking into your building. So the guide number 8 actually is acoustic comfort. It's actually, this one is more to do for your individual houses. So I believe you have been staying around with a lot of people around you, you know, left and right, front and back, all the neighboring. So with poor acoustic treatment, it may affect your neighbors, or others people may affect you. So we always start from ourselves, because a lot of people will say, okay, I'll just wait for other people to do, because why should I start first? I think this is a very wrong thinking. You have to always start with ourselves. Ourselves makes different. Do something that we're trying to affect other people. People will look at you, what you're doing, right? They're like, well, my neighbor's doing something, so they will try to follow. So start with yourself. Start to implement a good acoustic system to your house. Yeah, so you won't really, affected to the surrounding, and you give you a good treatment. Even let's say you have a piano rooms, music rooms, and the living room is just next door to it. So if a very good acoustic treatment, it won't affect it. You can have both activities conducted at the same time. Guide number 9 actually is reduce the waste. We have 4 R's. Choose from the materials and resources. So what are the 4 R's? First is recycle. So yeah, I think for those who have lived in overseas for quite some time, or studying overseas, I think overseas has been practiced very good in recycling. In Malaysia, people say, why should I? Because this is what I heard from some of the interview conductor live, all these things. So a lot of audience from publics, they call in, I've been doing this, in overseas, but I come back to Malaysia, not many people practice that, especially, see our alam foras pass by, they just dump everything into it, even though we have split up like newspaper, plastics, and everything. But to my surprise, my housing area, I'm talking, so I saw it's also for alam flora. They no doubt in that truck, they do not have the separate items for these items, but when packed nicely, let's say the plastic bag, plastic bottle, the newspapers or tin or cans, we just segregate it. You just give it to them. I think the people who work for that, they were collecting. So they're collecting, actually they're going to sell it, So you can either give it to them. Because I look at how they dispose the thing. They just don't throw, they just hang, There are a lot of things to hang on the trucks, So this is very good. It helps people because they need this item to sell it to earn a living. Or if you don't give it to them, you can do it yourself as well. You collect it, you send it to the nearest, the truck will come and collect the newspaper, just sell it. Or the plastic, go to the factories and sell it to them. I think it's very good. So we really have to practice this, So the second round is reuse material. Talk about reuse materials. A lot of people like to say, I like to use new things, but it doesn't really, it doesn't really matter now, because people really emphasize on green. So the material you select for your house, especially for renovation, try to go for reused material. Actually, it won't cost that expensive, You can choose, for instance, the ventilation block. You can convert into something, a steps. This is like, this. Majority is actually based on how creativity you can turn the material into something. So the timber plank, if you tear it down from a renovation, but there are some plank is still very good, you can convert into some garden tables and sitting. That's not a problem. Some wooden crate, the fabric, you can do it into a chair. It's become something like a designer chair, doesn't it? You can do actually a lot of things, So yeah. Recycle, contain, and green material. So this is the material I'm talking about. So when you choose the material, make sure that there are a lot. For instance, like the most left corner, the first one. So actually, it's used from the great ceramics, like our mugs, everything. So they just compress it and it becomes something like you can use it for tables or what. So the bricks are, certain bricks that we selected is also contained of the recycled material. You can find out furthermore, even for the wood, the timber as well, we recycle it and you can use it. Region material. So when you select material, you're trying to, because we are talking about green, we're trying to cut down the carbon footprint as well. So when we talk about regional materials, we are talking about within 500 kilometers. So you can select around these regions, because the items that you purchase from overseas, not to say it's not good, but actually you are not helping on the reduce the carbon footprint, because you need the shipments, you need the air crate, everything. So if you can get it from just nearby, why don't? Yeah. So the next guideline is actually on greenscape and waterscape. So look at these two pictures. The top one actually showing, there are green areas, but a lot of hard surface as well, such as our road for the car. So actually, you see, when the wind blows, it gave you the ventilation cross until it reached your house. Actually, it's 39 degrees Celsius, which is really actually hot. But when you start to implement some waterscapes together with some greenscapes, actually, it does cool down the entire environment. That's why now you can see a lot of developers, when they start to launch a lot of developments, they start to introduce water. They're selling products now, beside the green trees and everything, they also start to implement a water. Why? Because it's actually, besides that, it's a good, good for the, it's a good recreation place for the purchaser, for the publics, but it also does to help to cool down the entire, the living area, especially in the city. So these are the few examples that you can do. You can do some vertical gardens. I think outside a lot of both. I just I just went gone visit around, and I find that with today's technology, even though you do not have a green finger to plant anything, but with this technology, it can make you to own a pair of green fingers. Anything you plant actually is possible. You just need to find the right types of plants and to implement the right type of technologies, and you can give you this kind of result. You can create a lot of things. This is just one of the ideas. I went through a lot just now. I give this what is having outside there. Actually, they're showing a lot of they give you a lot of ideas. You can start to create your own green curtains. Green curtains, in your pergolas areas, your porch area, or maybe you have a yard, which is very good. So it actually, by doing this, it helps to cool down your entire buildings, and you can start to plant some vegetables as well, and you can earn some fruit from here, and it's actually very low maintenance. The price, I think, you can survey around, but I think if you, I came across with one product, I think it's not that expensive actually. You can do it actually. Hardscapes. So hardscape we can do on that by the selecting of the material. So you see, people's always we do something, sometimes we don't realize that we just take it from the nature, but we don't give back to the nature. So when we select for hardscaping, make sure, you see, the one piece of land without any houses or any buildings on that. So the rainfalls, the lands actually absorb the water. Actually, is actually balance of the entire of the environment. But when we start to implement some hard materials such as buildings, so it does affect the entire of the absorption of the the water for the land. So when we choose something for the landscaping, especially the hardscape, you can start to implement on this. So when you have some grass creep, so when the rain falls on that, actually it helps to absorb. You see a lot of development, why they have this retention pond. This is the reason why they need to balance the entire of the surrounding, because they might not implement on this. So in your house, actually, you can start to do this. It's very good. Grass creeps give you a green. You can park your car as well, no problem. So it won't take much of your space on that. Home farming. So to whoever, I think there is a speaker before that has been talking about that. I'm not really going into details on that, but I'm just showing some slide on this. So due to the food crisis has already started, due to the gain world population, wastage of food, climate change, our food actually is getting less and less. So I have read through this article, they're saying that by years 2030, world might face the food crisis, the very serious shortage of food, and people might start to do rioting on that, so which is very bad. So to prevent that, let's start with yourself to do some farming. You can do in your house, you can do hydraulics, or just now I've mentioned you can do some vertical plantings on that, not necessarily to be some flowers or trees, but you can start with some vegetations, so it does help. You can, it's organic as well. You do not need to afraid that, people might put a lot of, toxic items on that. So you eat healthy and safe, Composting. I think previous speaker also has touched a lot details on composting. But before that, to whoever have not listened to that, I'll just briefly to tell you what is compost. So compost is the single most important supplement that you can give it to your garden, and it's free, easy to make, and good for the environment. So composting benefits soil condition. With compost, you can create rich humus for lawn and garden. These add nutrients to your plants and help retain the moisture in the soil. So another benefit you can get is actually you can recycle the kitchen and yard waste. Composting can divert as much as 30% of household waste away from the garbage. So this is one of the green green move that you can start. Start from a very individual, start from the home. Next, will be introduce benefits to the organism of the soil. Microscopic of organism is compost help aerate the soil, break down the organic material for plant use, and ward off plant disease. So the next will be the good for environment. Composting offer a natural alternative for chemical fertilizer, so you save on fertilizer. Actually, composting is already fertilize your existing soil. So reduce the landfill waste. This has been studies. Most landfill in North America are quickly filled up. Many has been already closed down. So 1/3 of the landfill waste is actually made up for the compostable materials. So it's actually from a garbage become a garden. So this is one of the sections. Now we just cut through a section to show you how the composting that you can do. With some amount of the soil and the vegetation from the fruit, your garbage, everything. So you just can turn it into some very useful fertilized soil for planting. Guide number 17 is on rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting. So I think currently our authority, especially the DBCAL, is already start to implement in building development. So a lot of building developments has been actually emphasized to have rainwater harvesting in your house, actually in your buildings. So this is one of the way how you can install your rainwater harvesting. Not necessarily really have to be underground. Actually, you can do it within the space, within the ceiling and the roof area. So this is actually 2 ways to do it. So rainwater harvesting, you can harvest the water from the rooftop actually. So by this diagram will show you the rainwater harvesting actually stored at the underground. So definitely you need a pump to pump the water out. For what usage? You can use for irrigation, planting. Secondly is actually for your toilet. You can do it for not hand wash, but you can for your WC washing, things like that. So these are the very basic things. But of course, people say whether I can harvest the water for drink or not. Well, you need certain treatment to make sure actually the water actually is clean, safe to drink. So to go into really details on rainwater harvesting, I think the next speaker at 4 o'clock will tell you a lot about more details on this. So you can stay with us and listen to that. So water efficiency appliances is same with the electrical efficiency appliances. When you purchase WCs or water tappings, all types of water appliances, make sure you see this label. This is one of the labels also certified by the local authorities, and it says proof that the equipment appliances actually does help to save you on reducing the water usage. Water efficiency landscaping. So what is actually water efficiency landscaping? So it is like you plant you start to do some planning for your landscaping, your gardening. You have to make sure that how the plant you do, the move that you do actually doesn't really waste that much of water. So I have 7 actually steps. It helps you. Very basic steps, 7 horticulture principles from proper plannings to maintain. Providing tools you will need for a healthy water efficiency landscape. So these are the 7 proper planning. So you might need some specialists or consultants or more advise that, or you can buy a books. You can study on that how you want to plan your plantings. And the second is actually efficiencies of irrigation. So how you water your plant, how you want to lay your pipes, everything. Third will be the plant selection. It does makes a difference. The plants that you select. So certain plants they don't absorb the many water, but certain plants they do need a lot of water. So soil improvement, yeah, this does make a difference. Mulching, planting, and of course come back to your maintenance. How you arrange your plantings, everything, it does help. So like I said, there's one, the one I saw actually is a green curtain. So actually they have a row of planting, you know, like curtain, line, you know. So this is the water, actually they plant it on top. So the water will drop down to the second layers, to the third tiers, to the fourth. Then after that they have another small little pumps, they pump back again, go back to that. So that we call it, actually it's called water efficiency landscaping. That is one of the example. Grey water is generally accepted as being wastewater generated from the hand wash basin, showers, bath, which can be recycled on site for usage such as WC flushing, landscape irrigation on constructed wetland. So a lot of people are asking that why not about your, you know, the water from your dishwashing, your kitchen, or you know, after maybe your flushing of the water. That is not grey water. That is actually called black water. So it's actually toxic. You can't really use that. So that's why we can only harvest on, we can use back the grey water for such usage only, not the black water. Yeah. Well, I have a little bonus for you all. Since we are talking about food, crisis is actually happening currently. So I have a little bonus to teach you how to save on the food cart waste. Besides than composting, this is interesting. Some of you may know about this. It's garbage enzyme. Actually, it's not new in Malaysia. It's quite popular in Malaysia. People by doing this, actually it's very, very easy to do that. Later I'm going to give you the recipe how to do that. You can try to do that. It's very simple. So let me explain a little bit on what is a garbage enzyme. Garbage enzyme is actually a multi-purpose natural cleanser and fertilizer. It also has many other usage. Actually very strongly recommended that you try making your own garbage enzyme. Explore it, various uses. You were amazed by these wonderful benefits. So these are some examples of showing the garbage enzyme. Okay, how you use it, where you use it, what is the usage? You can use it for your household cleaning solutions such as mopping the floor, clean out the stubborn stain in kitchens, cleaning dishes, washing toilet, remove foul smell, keep insects away such as ants, cockroaches, spiders and lizards, purifying the air and extra. So of course, when talking about keep away the insect, right? If you stop using the garbage enzyme, of course the insects will come back. So I'm going to give you the recipe if you're interested. So this is the one. Basically, we need three basic items. You need a brown sugar and some vegetables and fruit, no meat, and water. Filtrated water. So the ratio is here: 1 ratio of brown sugar, 3 ratio of fruit and vegetables, and 10 ratios of water. So first step, you need to clean the waste and let it air dry. Then the second steps, you mix around the brown sugar with the water. Third, you can start to mix in your vegetables and fruits, and you make sure you keep in the container which is airtight. Yeah. Use only the airtight plastic container. Open the lid once a week or once every few days during the first few months, and you have to stir it. Store the containers in a dry and cool area away from direct sunlight. Only use fruit and veggie waste, no meat. So if the color of the garbage enzyme is turned black, it's not what you see brown, don't worry actually, and in fact you may see some worms. If you see some worms, not panic. Add some extra ratio of sugar and cover airtight. The fermentation actually will start, and actually the worms will go disappear by themselves. So I'm going to show you, I think this is the one, yeah. So you can start to do that. You say in fact people has been using it to clean the rivers, you know. Actually it's very, very environment friendly. I've been trying to use it myself before. Actually you can see a corpse with a very stubborn tea stain. It's very difficult to clean it, but by using a little bit of this garbage enzyme, actually you can clean it very easily. And in fact, the result is beyond your imagination. You'll be very satisfied with that. So I think I shall end my topics now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Miss for a very comprehensive 20-point going green. I think you covered everything except probably you didn't touch on roof insulation. So actually more of a loft space. My house under the attic, in the attic, it was very hot until I put in a roof, the insulation. It's a simple process. I just buy the insulation material, got some workers to put the insulation after I showed them how easy it is to, on YouTube. And it's amazing how actually I took temperature measurements before and after. So there's something like a 5 degrees Celsius reduction in temperature.
I do agree with this, sir. So actually I did touch a little bit on that, but not really go into details on that. See, this is the slide that I showed just now on the right. So yeah, I do agree with you, sir, because by introducing insulation to your roof, it really helps a lot. A lot of people, they say, not just a piece of layers of some rock wool, some paper foil, things like that. What it doesn't make, because it does involve a little bit cost on this, but it gives you the result which you will really satisfy on that. Because in my current the house I'm staying, yeah, it's without the insulation, and I'm staying at the second floor, the topmost floor. So it's like, especially you have the whole days with suns, the hot weathers, no raining, and you're going to suffer at night actually. Really, I do agree with that. So actually, to implement layers of insulation is really good. So just spend a little bit more, but if it give you a longer, enjoying your space, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Leong, for the most interesting, informative talk. I was just wondering if you could come up with a little handbook out of this whole talk. I do it even more useful. We can all carry it home and look at it every day and follow it. And another question, have you passed this information on to the present developers and all that, so that they can incorporate that bit of guideline inside their program so that we will have better homes? Thank you.
MGBC is an NGO, so we work closely together with GBI. GBI is actually the Green Building Index in Berhad. So GBI is actually, they come up with a lot of green rating tools. There are tools for houses, tools for high-rises building, low-rises building, for factories, retails, and we are now venture into the interior design. So actually, these are the guidelines to the developers. This guideline may not reach the public, but publics, don't worry on that, because you always can visit to our website. You can go to the GBI website, you can download down the green rating. It might be a little bit more technical for you, but we have the guideline to explain on each of the rating tools, so you can understand on that, and the download is actually free. You can just download it. So this, what I'm trying to say is actually we have these tools to our developers, to our friends in construction field, even for the contractor as well. During construction, people might not know, because people might thought that this is the developers, responsible, you have to do something, follow the guide and do this, but contractors also have the responsible. When they do some construction at a site, they have to start with, not to waste the material. They have to segregate all the materials in that. So we do have the guides. So to convert this into a book will be an interesting idea. Yeah, so I think it will give a lot of publics an idea what to do on that. So I will consider on that. Thank you.